So my wife Haley here and I have basically tried everything when it comes to selling digital products online. I mean, it started in our small LA apartment, Haley taking pictures of things basically just around the house and putting them up on Etsy as wall art. And we were selling those for like $1 a piece.
And this was like 7 years ago.
I know. And it eventually progressed to things being like, hey, why don't we do an ebook for $8? Why don't we do a small, bundle of things for $37? And we eventually broke into courses for $147, $247. And over the years, we've actually built up to selling even high ticket coaching packages in the tens of thousands of dollars. So when we say that we've tried basically everything there is digital product wise, we actually mean that. And in 2023, we hit 7 figures with our business online. So today we're actually going to show you guys what those digital products are. And honestly, it's not going to be what you guys expect. You might be thinking like one thing here, one thing here, one thing here. But in reality, they all work together in one big strategy.
But before we get into it, my name is Haley and this is my husband, Doug. We basically run the 7-figure business that we're referring to in this video. We're going to break it all down, like he said, from home. And we do it on part-time hours while homeschooling almost 4 of our, well, not that I homeschool a newborn baby, but almost 4 kids. And so definitely digital products has absolutely changed our life. And so subscribe if you're new if you want more information about how to basically make semi-passive income through selling digital products online. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into our very first product.
So this first one is basically the first step in our strategy. And let's kind of think of this as like a step of stairs. All right. So every step that you take in stairs is like the customer taking another step in the customer journey towards whatever big product it is that you're selling, right? So the first thing that we offer to people is some type of a freebie. And in our instance, one of the best selling first freebies, first opt-ins that we've ever done is a mini course.
Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably expecting us to say something like, hey, we sell some type of special unique product on Etsy for $5 and we hit it big. And you also might not be expecting that the very first product that we make 7 figures with is free, but it's literally everything to our business. And it's basically for the purpose of driving customers to our email list. So why is an email list like everything in this whole model?
Yeah, so basically what we want to be able to do is drive people to a flagship program at the top of the stairs. But nobody's going to jump in and spend tens of thousands of dollars potentially on the first time they meet you. They need to be warm to you. They need to learn your story. They need to know about what you do and what you sell and why you do it and what your values are. And the best way to do that is to get them onto your email list, get them onto a contact list of some sort, and start feeding them information. So this first freebie, yes, it is free. It is still selling. It will still drive sales, but it is crucial in this first journey.
So for instance, just to put this into perspective, for probably the first 5 or 6 years of my entire journey, being a social media creator, I mean, we were full-time YouTubers for 2 years living off of mainly sponsorships. We were basically like traditional influencers in the fact that we didn't see a value in an email list and we didn't understand that it could make us millions and millions of dollars.
And so if you don't have an email list, you're basically just expecting people to randomly show up, buy, and come and go as they please. And you have no real potential to continue to sell to them or to continue to build a relationship with them. You're just hoping and praying that people like your stuff and that they end up coming back.
Yeah.
And it's really just a flawed system that isn't really a business at all.
Honestly, I think it comes down to the fact that social media is so oversaturated. I hate that word, but there's so many people screaming at you, watch me, watch me, watch me, that if you don't get your customer or your follower right onto your email list, hopefully from the first piece of content, fingers crossed, that they watch of you, odds are you are just going to be another scroll in their day. And in our business, we've actually found that we make 80% and or more of our sales through follow-up.
So another point as to why an email list is so important is because studies have shown that I think it's somewhere around 7 to 12 touch points with a brand are required before anyone actually swipes a card, before somebody actually pays something. And so if they're randomly scrolling on Instagram and they see you, that's one touch point, but where are the other 6 going to come from? And so that's why an email list is so important.
And then the second facet to this is what kind of freebie are you going to offer? So we can go into detail and we have a whole podcast on like our email strategy and why it's honestly the biggest, it's the most boring, but it's the biggest reason why we've been able to hit that like $1 million status with our business. But we've tested so many different freebies. And honestly, the data speaks for itself because over 82% of the people that actually take our mini course, which is the freebie that we give in exchange to getting their email, they actually end up getting in our programs, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, and it's not immediately either. It's actually something we've seen people come back weeks, months, even years. People come back years later from getting our freebie and then signing up with our program. And so it's just one of those things that it is a crucial first step to being able to build a successful business.
The other thing about having an opt-in is a lot of people assume, okay, I'll just get you on my email list the easiest way. Everyone's shilling their Canva templates, checklists, and like little freebies and cute little, you know, downloadables that you pay from, I don't know, Etsy or Canva.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, the biggest reason why we can get so many people on our email list and convert those people is because of the type of quality content that we both deliver with the actual email opt-in or with the freebie. Okay, so basically we have chosen to do and tested so many things, but we chose to do a mini course.
So the idea behind doing the mini course, and in this specific one, it was finding your niche. It solves a very specific, very difficult problem that many people have, and it's free. If you can solve a serious problem that people have for free, people are going to say, well, what happens when I pay for stuff?
Yeah.
How good is this product going to be when I actually pay for something when this is the standard that they set with their free product?
And also, as far as choosing something like a series of in-depth video trainings, people will just see you as an authority and you will stand out above the masses that are just shilling out their checklists, which I've done checklists before, and like I've done YouTube success guides. Doug has helped me prepare those, and people get a lot of value, but there's nothing like really speaking directly to a person's pain point and solving their pain through video. I mean, that's why you guys are here. Everybody's watching video nowadays, so it's just more impactful, we found.
So the next step in our digital product ladder or stairs or whatever analogy it is that we're going to use, the next one that we actually go to is another free option or another free opt-in, and it's actually a 5-day challenge. And so here with the second step, usually what you want to do is you want to build upon the first freebie that you gave. So in our instance, our first freebie helps you be able to figure out your niche, figures out basically how to identify your idea or clarify your idea. And the second step is a challenge to actually plan out how to use that niche, which is getting people ready to take action.
And this isn't always something that we necessarily run all the time. I know we're going to give you guys a lot of different options, and honestly, the ladder's only 7 steps, I think.
Yeah, but we have like 5 steps here, 7 steps here. We have multiple ladders that people
can
go
hop
through.
in at any time they want. So if they hop in and they don't even see a freebie and they just buy like the most expensive package we have, or even just like a legit regular online course, they still get a series of emails. Like it's like a spider web. It all builds, I guess, upon each other.
Yeah, it all builds upon each other and helps them to be able to climb that metaphorical stairs. And some people can skip a step or two, you know, and it does happen. But, you know, in every case, it's going to be different in the way that you do it. So you don't have to follow exactly the way that we're doing everything here.
But as far as like the challenge, you guys might have seen, you know, a lot of influencers, or not necessarily influencers, but like marketing expert guru type of people. They run these like 5-day free challenges, and at the very end, they'll sell their product. And it's actually extremely effective for obviously doing what I just said, selling your product, because you are directly talking to your avatar. And so you can answer questions back and forth. And it's another way of selling your products that doesn't include like a social media launch, which are exhausting. These are too, but they're a little less demanding in my opinion. And it's just another way to rotate your call to actions on social media and increase hype.
Yeah, so these first 2 steps that we talked about here, they can be interchangeable. You can use one without the other, and you can kind of pick and choose which one you want to be able to promote. So that way you're not, like Haley said, over-exhausting your options that are there. But the entire point here with these first 2, again, is you're going to provide extreme value to a specific person with a specific problem. So that way you can create trust before you ever end up selling anything.
Now, I know a lot of you guys might be thinking, okay, these aren't even digital products. Like, I just want the quick fix. I just want to put out my Canva template of my reel covers on Etsy, make a bunch of money. But I promise you, like, these 2 methods are 100 million times more lucrative and more sustainable for like your online business than any amount of low ticket product. And I'm not going to harp too much on this because we really go deep with our podcast on our thoughts. But just hear us out for the rest of them, because we're going to talk about the actual digital products right now. So remember we said that our business and our products are structured like a ladder, right? So they're designed to take people through the entire customer journey. And initially when we first started selling digital products, we thought, okay, we'll just create one digital product, make a webinar, which is like that rolling masterclass that people talk about. You watch like an hour-long training and then you get sold at the end. And we did that. And we actually made full-time income through a single product for 2 full years. And that is how we made our money until we were exposed to this ladder that we sort of formed for ourselves, and we got coaching through mentorships and different things. So the ladder is so pivotal because you want to meet people where they're at. Some people can't afford your products, but they might be in 6 months or a year, or who knows, like 3 years or, you know, a couple days. Other people, they can afford the most expensive product. Other people can only afford maybe like a $37 ebook or $197 course. And so if you want to make the most amount of money from your business, it's important that, like I said, you meet the customer where they're at and you have a suite of products. So our next actual like step in the ladder is selling low ticket courses.
So these low ticket courses were actually built kind of out of necessity. Like Haley said, we didn't start with these. These were actually a way that we found to be able to help more people at a different lower price point than what our original course idea was, which we'll actually talk about in a second. That's actually the next step in the stairs that are here. This is not chronological order. Okay, this is the actual order that people will take in the customer journey.
Yes.
Our chronological order is actually quite different than this. Almost flipped. Yeah, it's here. Yeah. So basically the two products that we're going to talk about, technically it's the third and fourth step depending upon interchangeably that are here, but they are basically courses that meet people at certain areas in their business journey. So one of them being our course called Instant Impact, which is all about Instagram, and another one called $1 Million Newsletter, which is all about email marketing.
And the reason why we specifically chose those two types of products, because we're constantly asking ourselves, what are the 3 biggest objections that would stop people from getting into our highest package? Because you should always be thinking, how can I obviously make the most amount of money? How can I charge the most? And obviously you have to deliver value and get that person like an actual result. But you have to ask yourself, like I said, what are the 3 biggest reasons as to why they would assume that your product wouldn't work for them? They're your highest ticket package. And so for us, we teach people, obviously you guys are gonna learn this in a minute, but we teach them how to create and sell online courses, but also how to create and launch masterminds, how to do high ticket coaching. And so people's biggest objection is really thinking that they need a massive audience in order to hit like 6 figures, even 7 figures. So we created these 2 products. And when we created these products, all of the video trainings, and I know it's gonna be like, well, oh, big shocker. It's like we're pulling the curtain open for all of the students that might be watching this, but you can kind of understand. And we wanna be like super open with you guys because we want you guys to know what we know, right? And so we wanna teach you. Basically, when we create these programs, when we teach the lessons, we are also teaching in a way that eliminates objections. So when I teach people how to grow an Instagram account, show up as an authority, sell their own products, I'm constantly infusing storytelling, real life examples, testimonials in a non-cringe way that are literally like stories and showing proof to prove my point that they don't need a massive audience in order to get paid. Look at this person, look at this person. And so you might think, oh, that's just a boring online course that's like a webinar that just sells your stuff. We actually don't even sell it. Like we don't directly sell it in the programs. So for instance, when we actually went to sit down, map out and create the products themselves, like these little, not little, they're huge courses, but they're not like, you know, our flagship offer, which is with coaching and it's a mastermind and it's the most expensive thing. We thought to ourselves, what are the 3 biggest objections or reasons why somebody would opt out of basically being sold eventually one day, hopefully, into our flagship offer? And so for our program, obviously we teach people how to create and sell online courses, masterminds, high ticket coaching. That's like our biggest offer. And so we created these like a bundle of products, and sometimes we bundle them, sometimes we sell them separately. And like Doug said, it's like Instant Impact. And so for the lowest ticket ones, like the lowest price, when we say ticket, we mean price, Instant Impact and $1 Million Newsletter, we're basically eliminating those through storytelling, through testimonials, through proof.
So the whole idea here is that we want to overcome objections because that is like the middle ground or the bridge that needs to be gapped for some people, right? So some people need to see that before I go invest thousands of dollars in something else, maybe I invest in something smaller that helps me to overcome this thought process that I have. So we provide immense value in those. They are true courses that if stood alone, they would still provide value and still get real results for people. But at the same time, in the ladder and step process, there are still links and there is still information, and we are still very ethically selling people on the bigger packages because that's the whole point, is we want to give people the opportunities to upgrade and to take that next step.
So we have things in our just regular online courses that detail like any type of objections. So we have a module on mindset, like people thinking that they don't have enough time. We know that's like our biggest objection for people not wanting to do digital products or courses or coaching. Like I said, you need a big audience, showing people that they don't, what they should really be be focusing on and having a bunch of different modules on those topics.
Or people think that you need to have some type of certification or expertise and things like that. And I mean, in a lot of cases, people would rather listen to like an Instagram doctor than their real doctor. And so
sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, for better or worse, right? Yeah. And so those are the things that we try to, overcome and break people's thought process on and try to break down the beliefs that have probably built up over the years. So the next step in our stairs here, which is technically, I think like the 5th product that's here, it is actually the product that we lived for years off of. It is the one sole first product that we sold, and that's YouTubepreneur. And so YouTubepreneur, I would put kind of a level above Instant Impact and $1 Million Newsletter. And the reason for that is because YouTubepreneur is more of an A to Z program on helping people to be able to change their life.
So obviously, as the name says, YouTubepreneur takes someone from a regular person with like no following, their grandma might not even follow them on social media, to someone that's a YouTube entrepreneur, which is what we did for a couple years of our life there.
So YouTubepreneur is actually the program that we were able to go full-time with. What I mean by that is we are actually able to replace our full-time YouTube income from brands and sponsorships and Google AdSense and things like that. We didn't have to worry about that anymore because we were able to move to selling an online course, which was amazing. It was honestly like life-changing in the way that it worked. And so we actually did that for a couple of years through an automated evergreen webinar system. And so that meant people would watch our content, and then people would click on a masterclass and they would go through that, and then they would get a series of emails, they'd get a pitch, and they'd be put onto our email list. It kind of builds upon, the strategies that we've been talking about so far.
So yeah, like Doug said, we went from shilling like, meal delivery kits on a weekly basis. Nothing wrong with that.
Home
we still
chef
like
has
them.
always come up, man.
Yeah, we love it. It's always a joke because there's so many influencers do it, and YouTubers, whatever. And we went from doing that to like waiting for brands to knock on our door and taking more of a passive approach to being a content creator to finally, for the first time, like there's no experience or feeling like creating your own product and being able to literally control your income streams. I mean, I always use this analogy, but for the first time in my life, I didn't have to put myself on camera in order to get paid. I could literally be pushing my kid at the park, look at my phone when I was more neurotic about it and like very obsessed because we had to make things happen, and see like the dings come in from all of the course sales we were getting. And so that was such an amazing life. And living those 2 years through selling just one online course and being able to hit and scale up to $20,000 a month through that course and then have bigger launches than that, it was life changing. And so with that, a lot of you guys might be thinking, well, why do anything more?
So the thing is that when you sell an online course, it is still fed through leads, right? And you need to be able to generate those leads in some way. And so it's either going to be ads, which we actually did, and we actually ran and tested ads. And while they did work, we spent a ton of money on ads and found that and spend a lot of time being able to run ads too. But we found that our organic audience and organic presence was something that drove a vast majority of higher quality leads. But what that meant was we had to keep growing the YouTube channels. We had to keep growing on Instagram. We had to keep chasing views. We had to keep doing those things still in order to progress further. And so instead of just increasing the amount of leads that you get by working more and by spending more time posting, by spending more time figuring out on like what else I'm going to do to get views, the alternative is that you raise your prices. And that is the next and nearly final step in the ladder here is we move into our program called Influencer Course Accelerator.
So at the time we were in a mastermind and we were looking at someone's like product suite, product ladder, whatever they were calling it at the time. And it was a novel idea to us. It seems like a duh thing, but a lot of people just focus on one product and then just increasing the leads. And in that type of business, what we have found, it's more of like a marketing business versus like an actual online business, just because you're focused 90% of your efforts on not really getting people results as much, or, bringing more people onto your team or making the product better. You have to focus all of your efforts on getting more customers, getting more leads. And so that means dancing more on Reels or going viral more times on YouTube. And a lot of times for us, being the full-time YouTubers we were at the time, it was just so exhausting. I mean, burnout is real, and you can only do that for like 5 years more until you're thinking, okay, I'm turning 30. Like, am I going to keep, being a dancing monkey on social media? And so at the time, like I said, we were in a mastermind and somebody said that, well, you just need to sell the audience that you currently have more times, like more things versus just needing to grow for the sake of growth. So obviously that's where we kind of brought in the ascension ladder. And so that's why we thought of, okay, what's the next step for the clientele or the customers that have bought that YouTubepreneur program, the people that have gotten massive results with growing their YouTube channels? Like, what else can we learn? What else can we create for them that they would want to buy versus me having to go do more YouTube videos and things like that?
And so what this did was this actually gave those students in YouTubepreneur an opportunity to be able to leverage those skills, leverage that, YouTube platform that they've built, and further monetize their skills through an online course or coaching platform.
And so at the time when we were coaching hundreds of these, new YouTubers, even more experienced ones, we were telling them, like, you should do online courses, you should do coaching programs, because yeah, you can wait around for sponsors, or you can do what I did like nearly a decade ago and just email like 50 people a day, praying and hoping, taking more of it's like a passive active approach to making money, but it's kind of like, you can't really control that as much because a lot of people nowadays, with how saturated the influencer market is, with brands, they're not going to want to pay like tiny creators anymore. Nowadays, you need some type of an audience. And so it is harder. And so we would tell our students just naturally, hey, listen, we're making money from selling this course. You guys got to go do it too. And so before we even sold people on how to do courses or how to do coaching programs, we were just naturally telling people this.
Yeah, it was actually a very easy step in the ladder for people to take because all their objections were broken. They knew how to post on social media. They knew how to find an audience. They knew what their niche was. Now they just needed to accelerate the amount of income that they were making.
So what was so shocking to me as a former like full-time YouTuber is actually the people that ran with our advice before we were even teaching them how to do it. They had small audiences, like nearly all of our students, because they're, wanting to be YouTubepreneurs. They're not there yet, right? And so those people that started selling a course that they figured out on their own, they were making like 10x the amount of money which was insane to me because I didn't even know that was possible, versus someone that was just trying to wait around for brand deals, try to get, paid through YouTube AdSense. And so we knew that it was proven even for smaller influencers or creators.
And so another side of this was actually us expanding the clientele that we work with, which is kind of like a third, route that you can go, because what ended up happening is when Haley and I ended up launching Influencer Course Accelerator and these students were getting those results and we were talking about it, other influencers that didn't know this was an option were then coming to us saying, Haley, Doug, how did you guys do this? How did you set this up? And it was at that moment that we knew we had a valid step in this customer journey. So one of the major differentiating steps between YouTubepreneur and ICA here in this investment level and value that you get out of it level journey here is that ICA actually involves coaching. And so coaching is one of those final components that you add onto something to basically bring people the most value for the best type of investment that they can get. And so that return on investment for them is so much higher than if they were just to get something like a regular course, or even worse, like an ebook or something like that they go through, or some kind of free downloadable that's there. Like the value that they get out of coaching is what we consider to be something that's top tier. So that's the biggest difference between YouTubepreneur and ICA. And then even from ICA, we have that coaching. And on top of that, even beyond that, we have a higher level that's even past there that I would almost consider like a secret offer that we kind of just roll out to very specific people and very specific instances.
But really quickly, I wanted to mention back to the, whole coaching aspect. A lot of people click on these types of videos and they want to know how to make a quick buck or a quick 100 grand or something crazy. Financial freedom through digital products. I know I keep harping on that, but they will hear the word coaching and be absolutely triggered because they hate maybe not their boss, but maybe they don't like their boss. They don't like their coworkers. They don't want to talk to a human being. I mean, we've been there. That's why we're entrepreneurs, because we both worked 8 to 5 and it's the death of us for sure. Those short couple of years. And so they'll hear the word coaching and they'll think, well, that's not a passive business. Let me tell you right now, none of this is obviously passive. I mean, even though we're selling like a lot of different passive products, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and you might like poo-poo, for lack of a better word, coaching. I don't know what else to say. You might like shame coaching or whatever, not want to do it, shudder at the word, but you can make 10x the amount of money if you just offer like a weekly mastermind call, let's say hypothetically, or even a monthly mastermind call with 1 to 2 hours of your time, because people want to hear this analogy, I think it is, straight from the horse. That's an analogy, right?
No, from the horse's mouth.
From the horse's mouth. Okay, I can't with this. But they want to hear from the person with success. And so we always told ourselves, because we've been in so many different masterminds, masterminds that we just want to hear from the person. We'd pay into these huge masterminds. We paid over 6 figures in learning this stuff, and we would never get to even talk to the person. And so we told ourselves, like, never again. For our highest package, we will talk to them every single week at, you know, minimum, right? And so that's like the difference. And also, we don't have to drive as many leads. We don't have to be that dancing monkey just because we spend maybe an hour a week, you know, catering to people. And so sometimes it can be a headache, but that's where you can get people real results. I mean, there's nothing like creating a program with people's direct feedback every single day, every single week. And eventually, you guys might not know this, but you can hire this out. You don't have to be the coach for the rest of your life. You know, you can still do higher ticket coaching packages and have a coach. Let's say you do like fitness, a coach for postpartum like workouts, and then a coach for ab workouts. I don't know if you're on them, but you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you just pay these people, and you only have to manage a small team versus needing to manage massive social media accounts that just sell one low ticket product. Like, it's, I promise you, we've done both. It's easier to manage a small team of coaches versus needing to grow for the sake of growth, because you just, you know, you're a marketing machine at that point. It's more work.
And so above ICA, we actually kind of have like a hidden offer almost. It's an offer that we really just put out there to some of the highest level, almost like exclusive students or people that have social media accounts already that have been built out, and they have offers that have already been built out. And what we do is we actually work almost exclusively with them on being able to scale their business to even higher heights. And so this isn't necessarily something that we always include in the customer journey, but there is always a next level that you should be bringing your customers to, because again, if you can offer more things to more people, then that's just other ways to be able to diversify your income.
So I know this list might sound like a ton of work, okay? And if someone had told me this like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would have said, heck no, like, I'm trying to homeschool multiple kids. I want to be at home with my kids. It sounds like I'm mom, girl boss, whatever the heck, entered the word. And it sounds like we work all the time. But to be frank, right now we're in our living room. Our kids are having their quiet time. We work about part-time hours. Okay, so I know that for a lot of you guys, you might think that is impossible. Like, they know a lot more than I do, or they have worked a lot harder on their social accounts. Like, how is that possible? It hasn't always been this way. You know, we used to work full-time when we had just the one product, but actually adding more products on has helped us work less, because you can make more money through that email list, which hopefully you're building from day one, which we should have, right? And so once we realized the power of email, which is the very first step of the ladder, and how you can sell people in multiple different ways through email, depending on the actions that they take, which Doug is like a wizard at, and I know nothing, it really freed up our time to do things that we love. I mean, Fridays, Doug takes the girls and our boy on like a homeschool co-op hike, and that's amazing. And we work probably around 20 hours a week between the both of us. We have 2 employees, and I would say they're both part-time. So we don't manage like a massive team, and we still are the ones that talk directly to our students, because it's easier for us, and we like to, you know? So
that's where we see the value, is us talking directly to the students. But the only reason why all of this is possible, the only reason why Haley gets to homeschool, we get to homeschool, the only reason why I get to go try to be a semi-professional race car driver in my free time and do the craziest things, the only reason we get to do that is because of the way we've structured our digital products. Okay, we did not willy-nilly pick 15 different ebooks to try to sell for $1 a piece.
No.
We strategically picked products that fit needs at certain price levels, at certain demand levels, to build this cohesive strategy. It's not something that is just kind of stumbled upon that's there.
And so, yeah, like he said, we add on probably 1 to 2 new products every single year. So we don't add on all of them at once. There's a lot of trial and error, a lot of testing, a lot of doing different multiple challenges and pitching different offers at the end, a lot of different, probably 30 different types of webinars, okay? So it's a lot of late nights, a lot of nap time hustle, which is what I like to say. And then our kids get old and they have to like entertain themselves for an hour or to an hour and a half. And so you have to really be flexible, but know that it is totally possible to make this type of money, to make 7 figures working part-time from home as a family. But also, if you guys want more information about exactly how our business is structured and how you can get started as well, we actually have a free challenge you can take. It's $0 to $100,000 within 12 months or less on social media. If you have no dollars in your bank account, if you have no followers, not even your mom, then you should take this, because we walk you through how to choose a profitable niche, how to choose a winning course, or should you do courses or coaching? Like, what is the social media strategy if you have no money for ads? And we've done all of this without ads, actually.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and grab that down below.
And just real quick, one more reminder, when you guys go back through and watch this video, which hopefully you watched again, but if you guys go back through and watch this, remember the steps in the ladder are not the steps that we took in order, okay? So just think about that, think about the different ways that you can go about things. Go check out the challenge. If you got any value from this video, like, subscribe, comment, leave your questions down below. You can even DM us on Instagram at Digital Income Family. And I think that's all that we have for today. So we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye, guys.